And we've certainly got a fine opening match here from these two players. Just 12 minutes gone, and neither man looking particularly in trouble. You can see that audacious eyeballing that the Ukrainian, Roman Solovka, is giving Yuri Uzliam of Russia on the right there. But Uzliam is putting up a brilliant defence. Very tight, very solid. If you've just joined us, you're watching the 43rd World Stare-Out Championship Finals. David Joyce is with me, as usual, in the commentary box. Solovka looks impenetrable, doesn't he, David?
Good afternoon, John. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, he looks like a man in form. And I have to say, John, when I saw that this was the opening fixture of this year's championships, I thought, great. And because you can see them there, they're both concentrating to a fantastic standard. Wonderful staring. We talk about the ability of the top-level players to stare, and by golly, both these men are working hard out there.
Pressure on these players is enormous. One blink, and it's all over.
It was a terrible incident, and it's completely unrepresentative of the hundreds and thousands of decent stare-out fans.
Here, here. Oh, look at that! Uzliam tried something there, David.
Yes, John, but I think Solovka saw it coming all the way. He had no problem dealing with it. It's meat and drink to someone who can stare as well as Solovka. They're so familiar with each other's game.
And, of course, as a result of that, we've got a very well-balanced match here. Of course, whenever these two meet, we're reminded of that unforgettable struggle in the final of 1968, the Amateur Championship.
Yes.
The game lasted 9 hours before Uzliam wore out Solovka. We can see a snatch of that.
Great.
And what a really super match we've been treated to here by these two Eastern Bloc players. I remember the last time they met was during the Cuban Missile Crisis. And it was such an absorbing game that it certainly took my mind off that confrontation between the superpowers. And I really don't think I can recall such tension. The atmosphere here, absolutely electric. Marvellous stamina from these two players. Oh my gosh, Solovka has blinked! It's all over! What a terrific performance from the Russian! Absolutely outstanding!
Lovely to hear Raymond Sledge's commentary there too, the voice of Stare-Out for so many years. I think all that speculation in the papers has made Solovka even more determined to prove his detractors wrong. He's worked very hard to train for this championship. You've been watching him in training, David, and we can now show you at home some of the footage of that training.
Here he is. This is Solovka actually in training here, and my goodness me, what a sight. You know, he is a master, and there we see a master at work. He uses the metronome there to keep the rhythm, and he just stares at himself for 10 hours every day. And I suppose if you were getting £10,000 for exhibition matches as he does, you train that hard as well.
Both players biding their time here, both waiting to exploit the first chink in their opponent's defence. Uzliam hasn't budged 1 inch. Impassive. Oh, I say! That's something we don't expect to see at staring. A real attention seeker trying to steal the headlines from the serious business of staring.
It's extraordinary, that was. Absolutely extraordinary.
But just look at the concentration on the players' faces. I mean, pure professionalism.
Oh, not a flicker. Not a flicker. There was a fella standing there with his, what can you call it, hanging out, and they didn't budge an inch.
Talking to the boys, you've got to say the boys in blue, the police acted very promptly. And that's the last that spectator will see of this match.
Yeah.
Doubt this pop up on What Happened Next in some sports programme.
Extraordinary stuff.